we're on the fourth lesson of our unit today, and we're really kind of doing the same as we did last time with solving functions, but now we're going to kind of create a table out of that. So if you remember f of x, like this, that's how it's pronounced, f parentheses x, so we say f of x, is just the y value of a function. So instead of putting y, we're putting f of x, and that kind of shows us that is a function, right? So first thing we're going to look at is finding the range or the x value when we're given the domain, which is the y value. So what you want to do here is just plug the domain value in for x in the equation and solve. And then your answer is the range value. So highly recommend using a calculator for this, at least to double check your work. The x84 graphing calculator app on the iPad is pretty good. That's usually what we use in class. Okay, so just gonna get you started off here, and we'll look at number 1. So it gives us the domain. So it says the equation is f of x equals 3x minus 2. And then the x value or the domain is 2, 4, and 7. So if they give us multiple, we're going to plug in multiple times, okay? So we can do that, like I'll write out the first one, and then you guys can just kind of try the next one. So instead of x, I'm gonna plug in 2 first. Remember, this left side is just kind of like my title. I don't actually type that part in the calculator, I just type the right side in the calculator. So I'll be typing this part. So type that in. So, and over here on my table, it says my x values were 2, 4, and 7. So when I plugged in 2 here, I got 3 times 2 is 6, minus 2 gives me a y value, or f of x, of 4. And I'm going to go ahead, or no, I'll wait on that, sorry. So next I'm going to plug in f of 4. Alright, so 3 parentheses 4 minus 2. And just type that in and get a y value of 10. And lastly, I'm going to do f of 7. So that'd be 21 minus 2 is 19. Okay, and then here it says find the range. So just a reminder again, x's domain, and that's what they gave us. F of x or y values are the range. Remember to write these, so the brackets are already given for you here. You want to write them in numerical order. So that's 4, then 10, and lastly 19. Okay, so if it's only asking for the range, kind of make sure you're paying attention to which one you're doing. Okay, so the second one here, same idea. I actually want you to try this one on your own. I will say, I'll kind of start this first one off for you, but f of 2 equals negative 2, make sure that negative 2, parentheses 2, plus 1/2. If you're using that x84 app, you can do the fraction in parentheses, so you do parentheses 1, and then division symbol 2, parentheses, and that makes it a fraction. You could also make 1/2 0.5, so either way will work, okay? So take a pause on your video. I'll let it run for a couple seconds, but you can just click pause, and when you come back, I'm going to have the answers displayed, so try to do it on your own and then just check, okay? Okay, hopefully you're checking your answers. So again, I wrote my x values in the x column here, just going down, so 2, 5, and 9. And when I plugged those in, I wrote the fraction and decimal version, either is fine. So negative 3.5 or negative 3.5 for f of 2. F of 5 gave me negative 9.5, and f of 9 gave me negative 17.5. So remember, this is my range, so that's gonna write for like my final answer over here. So negative 3.5, negative 9.5. Oh, actually, least to greatest would be the other way, my bad. So negative 17.5, negative 9.5, and negative 3.5. So remember, least to greatest, in this case we had all those negatives, so it went a little different than usual. Okay, number 3, consider the functions f of x equals, 4 times 2 to the x power, and g of x equals 2 to the power of x plus 4. So complete each table using the function. I also wanted to add to this, I forgot to write it in, is which function increases more quickly. And I'm going to add this to number 4 as well. So that is a question on your test, so I kind of wanted to add this in. And it just means kind of which one's going up more quickly, has like a steeper rate of change, that sort of thing. Okay, so we're still just filling out the tables for both of them. So I'm going to make this first one my 4 parentheses 2 to the x power. All right. If they do not give you x values, or domains, like they did on the first questions, you can just pick. I usually just pick 1, 2, and 3. And I can do the same thing for this one. And then I'm just going to plug each of these in the calculator. So I want to kind of describe how you'll do that on the graphing calculator. So I'm typing this exactly, all right? But you may not know how to do the exponent, so I will show you that. So it's going to be 4 parentheses 2. Then to do the exponent, so as I'm typing this on the calculator, it looks like 4 parentheses 2, and then the exponent is a little button that looks like this. It's called like the caret symbol. So you'll do that, and then for x, you're going to plug in this 1, and next time we'll do the 2, etc. So I'll do a little caret button, 1, and then just enter or equals or whatever you do. Okay, and that gave me a value of 8. All right, now I'm going to try the same thing, but for my exponent, I'm going to plug in 2. And if you have any issues with this, let me know, because it's definitely kind of a calculator heavy unit. So I want to make sure you guys are able to access one and use one. So next one I'm going to do 3. So the exponent of 3. I got 32 for that one. Okay, now my second table, I'm doing this equation here. So I still picked 1 for my x. So my first little expression I'm typing in is going to be parentheses 2 parentheses caret button for the exponent, and then we have 1 we're plugging in for x, but we also have plus 4. When we have that number added in the exponent, you have 2 options here. You cannot type it in just like this. It's not going to include the 4 in the exponent, it's just going to add it on at the end. So don't do that. So your options are to add these first and do that as 2 to the power of 5, or you can do it inside parentheses, so you do exponent and then parentheses 1 plus 4. Okay, either will work. Please check this on your calculator and make sure you're getting the same answers as me, because I don't want you to miss something just because it's a calculator issue. Okay, so that should give you 32, because essentially it's 2 to the 5th power. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and erase this part here. I kind of just like to do the adding it ahead of time, so from what I did, I just typed 2, exponent key, and then 5, because I knew 1 plus 4 was 5. All right, so let's practice this next one. So I still have 2, but now I'm plugging in 2 plus 4, exponent of 2 plus 4, so that's going to be the exponent of 6. So 2 to the 6th power gives me 64. And lastly, if I plug in 3, that's going to be 2 to the 7th power. So on my calculator, it looks like that. This is the same thing, it's just not typed the same in the calculator. So I'm trying to show how it looks on the calculator. And let's see what that gives us. It gives us 128. Okay, so let's go back to this question B. So which function increases more quickly? So basically just look at what's going on here. Like which one is going up at a faster rate here? And it looks like they're both kind of timesing by 2 essentially, but since this one has like our larger values going on, we would say that. So I'm just going to say g of x because that was the name of this function. Okay, on 4, I would like you to try to fill out the tables on your own. So please pause the video. I'll give you a few seconds and then the answers will be filled in for you to check. But like I said, please try it on your calculator to make sure you're figuring out how to do the calculator portion. Okay, so this is what you should have gotten for your 2 tables. I wrote to the right here of each of them just kind of what I plugged in to get those numbers. And then our question B, which function increases more quickly? So in this one, it's a little more obvious at what's happening. It is still, looks like it's timesing by 2 still, but this right one, our g of x, is increasing more quickly. Okay, and last part for today. So writing equations in function notation. So we're still using our format f of x, okay, equals mx plus b, all right? But, so we have to find some of these things. So find the slope and y-intercept. So on each of these, I'm going to write m equals and b equals. And then we'll fill in our equation. So looking for our slope first, we're finding the pattern. X is usually just going up by 1, okay? Now the y value is actually going up 0, and that continues. So remember, slope is y over x, rise over run. So if 0 is my y change, I'm kind of flipping these numbers, 1 is my x. So 0 divided by 1 gives us 0, okay? So if I put 0x, that's for my, or I don't need the x on that part, I'll need it in my equation, but so 0, and then that's my slope. And b for my y-intercept is where x is 0. So that's where the line will cross the y-axis, and then where x is 0, y is 8. All right, so now I'm just going to plug in to my equation. So f of x equals m is 0, x plus b is 8. And you want to write this in simplest form. So since my slope is 0, well, 0 times anything is 0. So I can actually just remove that completely and have f of x equals 8, which is going to be a flat or a horizontal line because it doesn't have a slope, so it doesn't really have like an incline or a rate of change going on. It's just going to be no elevation on that line. Okay, now 2, the x values are still going up by 1. As I said, that's pretty typical. And then the y values are going up by 3. So y over x is 3 over 1. So my slope is 3. Now I do not have the y-intercept. So if x is 0, if I went down 1 there, so I still followed that pattern. So I want to think what number plus 3 will give me -1. Well, that's actually -4. So that is my b. And then I'm ready to plug in. So f of x equals 3x minus 4. That is simplest form. Nothing else can be simplified there. So that one will be done. All right, have a good day, and don't forget to submit your 3.4 homework. Next class, we will have a quiz review followed by a full quiz next week before Thanksgiving break. All right, have a good day.